Good morning, I'm Kenneth Moot.
And I'm Lana Zach. Here are the top 5 things to know this Monday morning. Number 1, millions of Americans finally getting some relief from the heat, but it's coming at a cost.
Thunderstorms are slicing into the record-setting temperatures. A lightning strike on a Florida beach injured 8 people, 1 critically.
And temperatures plummeted in Minnesota after powerful storms rolled through, creating flash flooding and bringing down trees and power lines. Number 2, the UK is trying to figure out how to respond to Iran after it seized a British oil tanker.
Newly released video shows Iran's Revolutionary Guard taking over the tanker with nearly 24 crew members on board. A British warship tried to intervene, but it was too far away to help. British officials say Iran is calling it retaliation for the UK's seizure of an Iranian tanker just over 2 weeks ago that was believed to be headed to Syria, a breach of EU sanctions. On to number 3, Puerto Rico is bracing for a massive protest today with 1 million people expected to hit the streets.
They're demanding that Governor Ricardo Rossello resign on Sunday. He announced that he won't seek re-election. He's also stepping down as leader of his pro-statehood party, but that's not enough for the island's residents. They've been frustrated for years with a weak economy and corruption, but the final straw may have been these leaked offensive messages between Rossello and his aides. And we head to Cooperstown for number 4, where 6 men have joined baseball legends in the Hall of Fame.
The class of 2019 was inducted yesterday, led by former Yankees closer and all-time saves leader Mariano Rivera. He's the first unanimous selection to the Hall. Also, Brandy Halliday fought back tears as she represented her late husband, Roy. He died in a 2017 plane crash. Also inducted Harold Baines, Lee Smith, Edgar Martinez, and Mike Mussina. And finally, number 5, Avengers Endgame is now the highest grossing movie ever, dethroning James Cameron's Avatar.
Avengers earned $2.79 billion globally in 13 weeks.
That is a large haul.
That is a big chunk
one
of cash.
For Avengers Endgame. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to It's Morning America. And look who's here. It's Lana Zach, everyone. It's Lana Zach, America.
Hey.
That's what I meant to say. How you doing?
It's Lana Zach, everyone. I'm good. I'm here with you, my friend Kenneth.
You look
We're
so
hanging
refreshed
out
in these early morning hours.
You know, that's what having kids will do to you. You just
get up.
You just get
and
up.
You're like, I'm awake.
Get up. You're like, it's time to go. Let's go.
Well, it's great to have you here.
It's great to be here with you, my friend.
Let's get started with the day's big story. The UK is trying to figure out how to respond to Iran after it seized a British oil tanker in what's being described as an act of retaliation.
Newly released video shows Iran's Revolutionary Guard taking over the tanker with nearly 24 crew members on board. The British warship tried to intervene, but it was too far away to help. ABC's Megan Tabrizian has more on the rising tensions. Megan.
Hi, Lana and Kenneth. Well, as this crisis plays out in the Middle East, President Trump has ordered more troops to be deployed to the Persian Gulf.
Tensions with Iran escalating this morning. New video released by Iran showing the moment Iranian Revolutionary Guards seized a British flag tanker in the Strait of Hormuz, a vital oil passageway. Notice the empty deck and an Iranian flag hoisted from the ship's bridge. In this newly obtained audio, listen to the exchange between the crews.
If you obey, you will be safe. Stena Imperial, this is British warship Foxtrot 236. You are ordered change your course to 360. 360 degrees immediately.
The ship captured Friday by masked Iranian commandos. Iranian officials say the vessel violated international maritime law. But British officials say Iran is calling it retaliation for the UK's seizure of an Iranian tanker just over 2 weeks ago that was believed to be headed to Syria, a breach of EU sanctions.
Well, let's be clear, this was a hostile and aggressive act.
This latest seizure coming one day after the U.S. downing of an Iranian drone that was flying too close to an American Navy ship in the Gulf. On Sunday, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo saying, despite the fact these are not the actions of a country headed toward the right direction, the U.S. is willing to talk.
We're prepared to negotiate across a broad spectrum of issues with no preconditions.
And British leaders are expected to talk to Parliament today to discuss what they should do in response to this ship's seizure. Back to you guys.
So, Megan, what exactly are the options that the UK is looking at in terms of its response?
Well, Lana, one of them could be targeting Iranian leadership by freezing assets in the UK, and the other one could be furthering the sanctions aimed at Iran. But there really aren't many great options for London to take because the U.S. has already imposed the maximum possible economic sanctions, banning all Iranian oil exports worldwide.
All right, there, Megan Tefrizian. Hey, before you leave us, making your debut here on It's Morning America, welcome to ABC News.
Oh, thank you. It's so good to be here.
So you've been on for, I know, a couple of weeks, but again, this is your debut for It's Morning America. And so typically we have the reporter come down to our studio here, but you're on another floor.
Where are you, Megan?
Here in our building. Why are you up there, Megan?
Do you want the honest answer?
Yes,
yeah.
we demand the truth.
What's going on?
I'm not wearing the right shoes, and so that's
what?
why.
What are the wrong shoes? Show us.
I'm wearing no, I'm not that flexible. I'm wearing black flats that don't go with the outfit. So tomorrow I'm bringing heels and I'll be in studio with you guys.
She
and
says I'm ready tomorrow.
She's like, I'll be there.
So whether
you're scheduled or not, I'm going to be there.
Megan, one moment you're talking about something serious, and then the next here on this show, there's no telling what could happen. So as you see there,
apparently,
now you've fully been baptized.
You really have. All right.
It's Morning America. Megan.
Well, we can't wait to have you in the studio tomorrow. Thank you.
Sounds good. Okay, bye. Thanks.
All right, so there's also a rise in tensions with Venezuela, with the U.S. accusing a Venezuelan fighter jet of coming dangerously close to an American intelligence plane. U.S. officials say the jet aggressively shadowed the military plane in international airspace, but the Venezuelans say it happened over their territory. Embattled President Nicolas Maduro remains in power despite calls by the U.S. and other countries for him to step down.
And now, do you have your popcorn ready? Because in Washington, it's a big watch week. Former special counsel Robert Mueller is scheduled to sit down for back-to-back hearings Wednesday on Capitol Hill.
And Judiciary Committee Chairman Jerry Nadler is hoping those hearings will highlight substantial evidence and make the public case for President Trump's impeachment. Mueller has said he won't speak beyond the findings in his report on the Russia investigation. But Democrats say the facts must be presented to the American people because no president is above the law. Many Republicans have claimed the Mueller report is one-sided.
President Trump fired off a new wave of tweets feeding into his ongoing feud with 4 congresswomen of color that devolved into supporters chanting, "Send her back." The president called the freshman lawmakers weak and insecure, saying that they're not capable of loving our country. Democratic Congressman Elijah Cummings praised the women he said that he's honored to serve with them. He also made it clear what he thought about the president.
We were trying to integrate a Olympic-sized pool near my house, and I heard the same kind of chants. Go home. You don't belong here.
Do you believe President Trump is a racist?
I believe he is. Yes, no doubt about it.
But White House officials and the president's campaign aides are coming to his defense. They took aim at the congresswomen, and they insisted that the president is no racist.
Look, I have worked with President Trump for 2 years, and he is not a racist. He is a results-oriented president who is focused on helping uplift all Americans.
But the president himself has been sending some mixed messages on this subject. He did nothing while supporters in North Carolina chanted "Send her back" about Representative Ilhan Omar. He disavowed the chant, though, the next day, but then he called the supporters at the rally, quote, "incredible patriots."
And singer R. Kelly wants a computer so he can complete his latest album from jail. That's according to his attorney. The singer is currently in solitary confinement in Chicago. He's facing multiple charges of child sex abuse and pornography. Kelly's attorney says he needs to finish the record so he can earn a living. It's unclear if a formal request has been made.
And it's also unclear how many people would be interested in listening to songs by R. Kelly now. Students in Oregon now have something that we could probably all use: mental health days. Under the new state law, students can have up to 5 absences excused in a 3-month period. It's believed to be one of the first of its kind in the nation. Supporters say it's in response to the mental health crisis in schools. Suicide is the second leading cause of death among Oregon residents between the ages of 10 to 34. Utah passed a similar law last year.
This is a paraglider's view, crashing face first into a Swiss mountain. A wing collapsed on the glider, sending Greg Overton into a cliff. The Washington State native managed to get up in a few minutes, then landed normally. He walked himself and his gear to a train station, then went to the hospital. He suffered some cuts and bruises, but he is expected to be okay. His last name is Overton. I think he overshot his landing.
That was a bad pun by a guy who was injured.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's okay.
He's okay. All right.
He's fine. He walked himself to the train station.
I like that he walked to the train
hospital.
station. Right. No ambulance, so I guess you're right.
He's over his skis, or is he
over
over
his
the
ton?
Over 10. Coming up, protests in Hong Kong turn violent.
Hundreds of thousands rally for direct elections as protesters are attacked by masked men. More after this.
Welcome back. Protests in Hong Kong turned violent this weekend as mass assailants attacked commuters, and protesters in a subway station. So let's go across the pond now to our friend Julia McFarlane in the London Bureau for more. Good morning, Julia.
Morning, Kenneth. That's right. So dozens of people have been arrested after last night's violence in Hong Kong. Around 45 people were injured, one critically, after what appears to have been armed gang members, armed thugs, attacked a large group of protesters as they were returning home from that massive rally yesterday. Hundreds of thousands of people once again taking to the streets to demand for democracy and protesting against what they say is increasing influence from Beijing in domestic Hong Kong politics. Now, the instigators of last night's violence, as reported by witnesses and local journalists on the scene, they were wearing white T-shirts and they appeared to be targeting protesters who were all dressed in black. A lot of images shared on Telegram, that encrypted communications website, showing a lot of people injured, a lot of people being attacked by these people wearing white, carrying metal rods and batons, and some lawmakers and journalists were among those injured in that violence. So very disturbing images coming out of Hong Kong last night.
Indeed. And Julia, there in London, we know that Prime Minister Theresa May is stepping down. What do we know now about who may be replacing her?
Well, Lana, Conservative Party members have until 5 o'clock this afternoon to submit their ballots. Now, widely expected to win is Boris Johnson, that flamboyant former foreign secretary who, of course, has a warm friendship with President Donald Trump. He's expected to win. It's not clear how much by a majority, but what's been happening over the last few weeks is he has been busy putting together his sort of idea of who he wants to be in his cabinet, a bunch of loyalists, some controversial Boris backers, including Priti Patel, who had to resign from the last cabinet over undisclosed meetings with the Israelis. She's a very controversial choice who it's rumored may be the next Home Secretary. She has called for the death penalty but has since walked those claims back. And Boris Johnson is, of course, he's been writing in the Daily Telegraph today, writing after the Apollo 50 landing, saying we just need to believe in Britain and Brexit will be fixed. Some bold claims there.
Yeah, a big advocate for Brexit. It'll be interesting to see how he tries to execute.
Yeah, and I mean, if we assume that he wins, he's also facing a number of pre-resignations. The Treasury Secretary and the Justice Secretary say that they plan on resigning if he becomes Prime Minister, and some more government ministers are actually announcing that they are resigning today ahead of that result coming out. So very turbulent times in British politics.
So we can see quite a bit of fallout from that if that happens. Julie, before you go, so now to when we have a future prime minister, he's going to have a close relationship with the future king, who happens to be Prince George. See how I connected that right there? I think I did a good job. Yeah. Who's got a big birthday, number 6 for Prince George.
Number 6 for Prince George. It is his birthday today, 22nd of July. He's just finished 1 year at his school in Battersea, and some beautiful, really charming photos we can see that Kensington Palace have released of the smiling prince, future king of the United Kingdom. So, you know, Scots like me might take a little umbrage at him wearing an England shirt, but never mind, we can forgive him for that because he's so cute. Yeah, these photos were taken by the Duchess of Cambridge, and she is becoming quite the proficient photographer. Quite a lot of photographs from the royal household of the Cambridges are ones that she's taken herself at home and in the gardens, but some beautiful pics there. Yeah, Nice little story there to brighten everyone's Monday.
I swear I thought those pictures were with just a good iPhone. I didn't know they were actually with a professional camera.
Oh, I thought that it was a professional photographer.
You
like
are dumbing down the talents of our Duchess. I think they're beautiful photographs.
You know what? You can be very talented with an iPhone, and so I just thought she was like mom in the garden trying to say, smile, like, you know how mom's yelling at the kid? Is it a situation like that?
Well, never work with children and animals. I think that's the cameraman's #1 rule.
There you go. And if you do, make sure you have a southern accent when you do it. That's for anyone.
Let's not go there.
I know.
It's in the past, Kenneth.
It's in the past. I haven't seen you in a while.
Until the next bet. Which I will not lose this time. I have faith.
All right, my friend. It's good to see you. We'll see you next time.
See you soon.
All right, let's check our notifications now, starting with a 2-year-old who was born to be bad. He decided to take a ride to the fair on his toy tractor, going with 1.5 miles per hour. He didn't have far to go, like a couple of blocks down to the county fair down the street. They found him.
Went there.
He did go there. The police were called. Parents called 911, and just a few minutes later, they found the little boy with the tractor next to a ride at the county fair. And his name? Kenneth. Of course.
Dad took the battery out of his little tractor after that.
Oh.
Kenneth lost his wheel.
He did.
All right. Check out this perfect wedding dress for a bride who is obsessed with pizza.
Oh, it's like a 6-tier wedding dress.
Pepperoni, cheese
included.
Look at that bouquet. It's edible.
It's actually part of a Chicago town. They make a deep dish pizza. It's part of a campaign they got going on, but I think you had to be like over in the UK or something to get this deal. Like if you want to try to be the winner for this, to get this dress.
If that's what you want.
If that's what you want for your big day.
God bless.
All right, next, a close encounter with an apparently hungry great white shark off Cape Cod.
Oh, I like this one. A fishing boat captain calling the incident exciting and scary and exhilarating and kind of surreal. Here it is. That woman is pulling a fish towards the boat when the great white comes along and enjoys, well, his own lunch. The young boy who was watching, you can see him retreating there in horror. I would have done the exact same thing. Smart boy.
He was like,
get out of there.
The cameraman, though, pretty steady. The boy's father shot that video. He called the incident a crazy fishing story that gave everyone a pretty good scare.
You know what the captain said? He's like, I've seen bigger sharks.
He did. He said earlier this month he saw a bigger one.
Yeah. Finally, last week, we had the alligator known as Chance the Snapper. He was captured in Chicago, but there's something a little bit different. I'd say even a cuter alligator.
I agree. Some homeowners on Long Island, New York, found a small gator in their pool just as they were about to go for a swim. Man was about to clean out the pool's filter when he spotted the alligator. He said he has no idea where it came from.
Baby gator,
Oh, good.
Baby gator.
Don't get that in my head, please.
All right. Avengers Endgame has gone where no movie has gone before, and a Star Trek reference, as Marvel pulls back the curtain on its cinematic universe.
The company has unveiled plans for new movies, new stars, the return of old favorites, all while celebrating a monster new record at the box office.
ABC's Diane Macedo has all the details.
Avengers Assemble.
We're in the end game now.
The box office battle for the ages is complete.
This is the fight of our lives.
Avengers Endgame is topping Avatar as the highest grossing film of all time,
Iron Man,
making over $2.7 billion.
I like this one.
Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige broke the news at Comic-Con in San Diego.
It is surreal, honestly, and it is something we never thought about happening. We wanted to outdo ourselves is what all we wanted to do, and compete with ourselves. But it's a testament. It's a testament to every filmmaker that worked in the MCU.
But that wasn't Marvel's only big news. The studio is also revealing plans for Disney Plus and a slate of new movies. And with the announcement of another Thor and Doctor Strange, fans can expect to see more of their favorites featured on the big screen, including the long-awaited Black Widow movie.
Let me put you on hold. I feel like I'm in a weird dreamland. It's very, very strange and very exciting.
And get ready to see some new star power. Phase 4 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe will include Angelina Jolie, Mahershala Ali, and Salma Hayek, to name a few.
I know I said no more surprises, but I was really hoping to pull off one last one.
All right, thanks to Diane there. So many big things happening at Comic-Con, and I was surprised by so many Guardians of the Galaxy 3, apparently a Black Panther 2.
Have you been to Comic-Con before?
I have not
Actually
been.
There?
I haven't been to San Diego for
You know, the very
Comic-Con.
first Comic-Con, there was one woman in attendance, and she was at this most recent one, too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, pretty cool chick.
That's pretty cool. Well, you know what? That should be our question of the day. What are you most excited about coming up from Marvel? The new Thor, Blade, Black Widow? Tell us in the comments section or tweet us at ABC News Live. We want to know, what are you excited about from the Marvel universe?
We want to know everything that you're excited about. So, coming up, Hollywood and President Trump rallying around A$AP Rocky.
The Grammy-nominated rapper detained in Sweden, now the subject of international negotiations. More after this. Here's what to watch out for today. President Trump welcomes the Prime Minister of Pakistan to the White House for bilateral meetings and a working lunch. Demonstrators protest as they keep up their demands for Puerto Rico Governor Ricardo Rosselló to resign.
John Paul Stevens will lie in repose at the Supreme Court. The former justice passed away last week at the age of 99. Nancy Pelosi will speak at the NAACP annual convention and discuss women's issues in Detroit. And presidential candidate Tulsi Gabbard will appear on The View.
Plus, don't forget to tune into The Debrief for an update on all our top stories and the briefing room for a breakdown of the latest headlines and politics. And now to the latest on that American rapper being detained in Sweden, and now even President Trump is involved.
Our Will Gans has the latest on how Hollywood and the White House are efforting A$AP Rocky's release.
That is right, you guys. What started as Kim and Kanye now involves the Prime Minister of Sweden, the President of the United States, and Justin Bieber?
So our babies will be flyer than their parents.
A$AP Rocky, from music videos alongside Rihanna to the subject of international negotiations. The Grammy-nominated artist under investigation and in jail since this June 30th altercation in Stockholm, as shown in this video obtained by TMZ, although he still hasn't been charged. President Trump speaking to the Prime Minister on the phone this weekend, tweeting afterward, "He assured me that American citizen A$AP Rocky will be treated fairly. Likewise, I assured him that A$AP was not a flight risk and offered to personally vouch for his bail." Many saying that offer feels out of tempo in a criminal justice system that doesn't even offer bail. The Swedish Prime Minister's press secretary saying in a statement, the government cannot and will not attempt to influence the legal proceedings. A$AP, who's behind bars along with two of his backup dancers, posting this video on Instagram allegedly showing the moments leading up to that fight.
They keep following us.
Two men who have not been arrested appear to follow the artist and his group, throwing headphones at the musician's bodyguard. A$AP, whose real name is Rakim Myers, maintaining he acted in self-defense.
We don't want to fight y'all. We're not trying to go to jail.
And rapper G-Eazy posting on Instagram referencing his own arrest last year in Sweden when he paid a fine and was released after a day and a half, shown in this video obtained by TMZ. The difference between me and Rocky's treatment and process in Sweden brings to mind two concepts that disgustingly go hand in hand: white privilege and systematic racism. Other celebs tweeting their support, like Shawn Mendes and Jada Pinkett Smith, and Tyler, the Creator, vowing to never tour there, saying, "No more Sweden for me, ever." And Justin Bieber getting political, tweeting to the president, "I want my friend out. I appreciate you trying to help him, but while you're at it, can you also let those kids out of cages?"
President Trump tweeting over the weekend that he and Sweden's Prime Minister agreed to talk again within 48 hours. Prime Minister, though, disputing that, saying follow-up conversations may take place, but nothing has been planned.
So it's incredible. So he hasn't been charged. He's sitting in jail for several weeks now. And I mean, this is their justice system. It's how it operates.
Because you said that there's no bail. So what do they normally do? People just stay in jail until
the prosecutor charges?
I guess so. And the thing that's throwing kind of a weird perspective on all of this is how G-Eazy was treated just a year and a half ago when the same thing was happening.
You pointed that out there in your piece there. So we will see if President Trump and some American muscle there can actually help A$AP Rocky, and obviously a lot of other people who are chiming in as well. But that Swedish prosecutor kind of pretty adamant there that this won't impact anything.
Nothing's going to happen because of this intervention. So we'll have to see how this all plays out.
We will. All right, thank you, Will Gans. We appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Well, that's it for us. It's great to have Lana Zach here in for Jane Norman.
Thanks.
Have a great day, everyone. We'll see you.
Bye.